Welcome to the TLH Online Radio Show. I am Collins Wasilwa, today with exploring the possible origin of a modern pursuit and obsession with UFOs and aliens. Well, if you can hear me, before we get started, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button as you come in. And make sure to search TLH Online on YouTube, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. That way you won't miss on any of the upcoming shows. Also, the TLH Online radio page is now available on iTunes and Google Play Music, meaning anybody who will be getting over there will be getting the show too as well. Well, what does the Bible say about the last days on earth? How do the words of Christ on Mount Olives connect Noah's flood, Sodom and Gomorrah, ancient mythology, and modern science to the end times Bible prophecy? Did God really hide everything we need to know about the last days in the stories of Noah and Lot? And who or what is behind all of the UFO sightings and the abductions of human beings all over the world? These are just a few of the questions that today's show seeks to answer. And the truth is that authorities have blindfolded the truth about the realities of the supernatural and the entities in the unseen world. The Bible tells us that our war is not with flesh and blood. But what does that statement really mean? Is the spiritual world crossing over into the physical realm? This is for sure one of the most controversial studies. In January through March of 1918, Aleister Crowley began a series of experiments called elemental workings, in which he is said to have opened a portal to another dimension and thus allowing an entity to enter through it. The entity looks surprisingly similar to what we see on TV and in movies. That is the Grey. Supposedly, Crowley's portal was further enlarged by Jet Propulsion Laboratory founder Jack Parsons and Scientology and Dynetics founder Aaron Herberts in March of 1946 at a location that later became known as Area 51. The experiment was called the balloon working. And unlike Crowley, however, Jack Parsons and Aaron Herbert were not as adept at opening and closing portals. Theirs apparently stayed open, and the modern UFO era began a year later. And the same year, Aleister Crowley died. In 1947, we have the Roswell crash. 1947 is also when the Dead Sea Scrolls are discovered, and the books of Enoch, Joshua were among the Dead Sea Scrolls. They tell us who these creatures are and how they came to be. 1 year later, Israel becomes a nation, and there is a reason to believe the Holocaust in Second World War was a blood ritual that had very significant spiritual ramifications. I think they were opening up portals. The first book of Enoch 10:9-12 tells us that as part of their punishment, the watchers were to see the destruction of their beloved ones. that is their offspring, the Nephilim, who are to slay one another. The watchers were then to be bound in the valley of the earth for 70 generations, after which they would then be released. And Psalm 90 verse 10 defines a generation as 70 years, or 80 if by strength. If you're good at mathing things out, you can do the math for yourself. Given it was about 3000 BC when the Watchers were facing the punishment. So, have the fallen Watchers been released? How else do we explain the massive explosion in technology, science, and transportation that has taken place in the 20th century? We went from horse and buggy for 6,000 years to plane, trains, and automobiles. We have a space station, and we have the Hubble telescope looking past the farthest reaches of the universe. Does this fulfill what Daniel says about the last days? That knowledge will be increased? Alright, if you want to support, check out the TLH online Patreon page. If you like this, share it and pray for it. Also, check out my book, A New Reality. There truly is an alien agenda, but not in the way authority style. It's available on Amazon.com. And that's for the day. With that said, until next time, I'm out.